Hey everybody, this is the Sliders Review, and it's Women's History Month, and I'm here today to talk to you about Pitch Perfect 2. So this movie came out in 2013, and I finally now have seen this movie. I reviewed the third one about 2 months ago, or maybe last year. I can't remember which one it was. And I reviewed, let's see, I reviewed the first one. It should have uploaded by now. If not, then probably a little bit later. And so I said in that, I've never seen the second movie and I really want to see the second movie because I'm very curious now because, after the first one, I just never watched another movie because I just find the first movie to be pretty okay. It's all right. It's pretty good and everything, but it didn't wow me. However, the movie was a surprise hit and everything. And so, because of that, I saw the third movie because I had Peacock. And so I saw the first one and I watched the third one. And the third one was just awful. My God, that was a terrible movie. And so I was very curious to know about the second movie and stuff. But Peacock does not have it for some bizarre reason. So I just got Amazon Prime and they have it. And so I watched it before they could take it off and everything. Because I always wait too long and say I'm going to watch a movie. Then the end of the month comes and some streaming site takes it off. And when it comes to the second movie, just like with the first one, they always release the music on YouTube first before it comes out in theaters. So I have listened to the songs of the second movie a million times. And like I said before, I love the music in the first and second movie, not the third one though. But I really love the songs in the second movie. And so a while back, I decided to watch a clip on YouTube of the boot camp part. And that's my favorite part, the whole camp scene. That entire thing just had me laughing and stuff. And I really enjoy the montages. So when it comes to this movie, how exactly do I feel? I find it funnier than the first movie because there's a lot more jokes, but I'm still in the consensus of the first movie where the jokes are half and half for me. Some of them hit and some of them didn't, but more jokes hit. However, I just could not stop laughing at John. He says the most outrageous stuff, and it's just kind of oh my God, I can't believe he said that. But a lot of the jokes with a lot of the females hit too. Anna Kendrick was a lot more funnier in this movie and less annoying than she was in the first. Becca always rubbed me the wrong way in the first movie because she's the manic pixie girl who always finds a reason to be unhappy and ruins everybody's good time, and she's always cranky about stuff. She's cranky in this movie too, but she actually has a legit reason to be cranky and stuff. So I found her a bit more enjoyable and a heck of a lot funnier because they touch more on her bisexual side. And I agree with a lot of people. They really did tease her and what was her name? Was it Chloe? Oh no, it's Chloe, the blonde one. Which one is Brittany Snow? Yeah, I think Brittany Snow is Chloe. And so, they keep teasing, that whole thing between them, but nothing ever happened. I feel like this movie that, Kay Cannon wrote is pretty good, and there's some really good beats to it. Not beats as in music, but some plot beats and everything. But I feel like she should have worked a little bit more on the script to make it a bit stronger. Because there's just some things that I find odd in this movie. And one of the things that I find odd is that there are way too many characters. And there still is not enough character development with all these characters. I do like how when it comes to the main Bellas and everything, they have kind of evolved them a little bit in different directions from what in the first movie. Because Becca wanted to get into music, like production type stuff. So she now has a job as an intern and everything, getting to work for like this music producer. So, they're pushing her story forward with that. And when it comes to Chloe, she has completely changed. I feel like the movie revolves around her a bit more than anybody else because she's the one going through the real struggle. She has failed 3 times on purpose just so she can stay in college because she feels like the Bellas is her life. However, it's odd that she feels this way and she acts this way and she's so rude in this movie because she's basically the Stacy replacement. She was never this way in the first movie. And what happened to her deep voice because of her nose and everything? I feel like when they got rid of like the Stacy character, they needed a new Stacy, so they just made her the new Stacy. And I am glad they brought Stacy back for the middle of the movie because I really, really, really missed her and everything. And so I just feel like this script should have been a bit stronger. Because take Emily, for example. I love myself some like Haley Steinfeld and everything. But her character served absolutely no purpose in this movie. She doesn't bring nothing to the movie, and she doesn't take away nothing from the movie. If anything, they try to make her the new Bella of the movie, but they still have Bella in the movie. But she's more of a watered down Bella. She's not like, manic pixie. She's not headstrong. She's not like determined. She does try to sneak in her song to screw up the riffraff thing. And, remember when Becca screwed that up in the first movie and stuff. So they're really trying to make her the new Bella, but the only problem is the movie does not focus on her whatsoever. She's basically one of one of the other Bellas who just be in the background and stuff. But she has a bit more to say, just a bit more. And that right there is the problem because they set it up with her wanting to do her own original songs. She's getting a love interest, very similar to Bella and everything, a quirky, weird guy who's just into her for some reason. She's not really into him back, but decides to date him at the end of the movie. And not only that, but they set up the whole thing with her mom being a former Bella and wanting to relive her life through her daughter and everything. That's something the movie should have focused on, but they didn't. So what was the point in adding that subplot if they didn't do that? I've always said the Pitch Perfect movies are basically Bring It On meets Glee. And just like with Bring It On, it should have been an anthology. The second movie, as much as it's going to hurt a lot of the fans and the former stars, they should have went with a brand new cast, being with Haley Steinfeld and like her mother and like a bunch of new Bellas. Because think about it. They tried to be realistic in terms of this movie being 3 years apart from the first. And so with that, the Bellas are now getting older. They're about to graduate and everything. And it's just like, it should have just reflected on a new school and like a new cast and everything. And I think it would have been a heck of a lot fresher. You could still have those clone versions of the other characters, but with different faces and a bit of a different personality. Because the thing is, she had none of Bella's feistiness, none of Becca's feistiness and stuff. So I don't see the point in having her character there, and I don't see the point in her mom being a former Bella and wanting to relive her glory days and everything. It's supposed to be in contrast with that of Chloe, but it doesn't really connect. And also something, or a group of people who was pointless, why were the troublemakers back? All the troublemakers are now gone from the first movie except for Benji and except for Jesse and stuff. And so Benji and Jesse are kind of just there. They don't serve a purpose to the plot. they're like Jesse is just still there to date Becca, and I couldn't even tell they was dating. That's the thing. And then Benji is just some creepy guy who likes like Emily and somehow gets her at the end of the movie, but how? They rarely interact, and he's so weird around her where he can't even barely form a complete like real sentence or without acting weird. I get they wanted to bring like the two stars back from the first, and I get one of them is dating one of the actresses, or was dating one of the actresses from the movie. But if they don't serve a purpose in the movie, there is literally no point in bringing them back. Same thing with Bumper. I truly feel like because they love Adam Devine so much, they just kind of inserted him into the movie, but they couldn't really think of nothing to do with him because first he's like a security guard for the school. It's like, okay, so you graduated from that school and now you're a security officer, but now you're with that other band, the a cappella band from that other school. Then why aren't you back with the Troublemakers? Oh, but you graduated, and then the only thing that could do with him is elevate his character to where he's no longer a jerk. We don't know what caused him not to be a jerk no more, because in the first movie, he was a straight villain and stuff. Him and Amy are still banging and stuff, and he's actually falling for her to where he wants to be an actual couple, but she does not because she wants to play the field and everything. Yeah, they elevated his character in that regards, but they kind of just crammed him into the movie with no real purpose and stuff. And the whole thing between him and Amy, it would be nice to actually see them make out or do something in the movie or sneak away constantly, other than them sneaking away off screen and we don't see nothing happen. We don't really see him like, falling for her. It's just implied over the years. So they've been banging for like 3 or 4 years and they haven't even like dated or nothing. Like, you really gotta see that stuff instead of just be told that. And then she comes to the realization that, oh, she does like him and everything. Only for him to act like he doesn't care, but only to care. And so it's just kind of like if there's no real purpose for him being in this movie, then just don't put him in there. The German people should have been front and center in this movie, competing with the Bellas and interacting with them all throughout the movie, not just at competitions and stuff. So you lose that kind of connectiveness to like, them having an antagonist group because they're not there antagonizing them unless when only they appear. And so I do like the realization that like Becca realizes that, hey, singing and being in the Bellas is not like the only thing I want to do. Like, I want to have a life outside of college. That's my next step in life. And how come none of y'all have any of those goals? So then all of a sudden they just do the campfire thing where they start listing their goals. But because we really don't know none of these characters, who cares and stuff. Like, Cynthia is still exactly the way she was in the first movie, only that she's out now and she lets everybody know that, hey, she's gonna get married. But to who? Was it that girl she was dating in the first movie or somebody else? Jessica and Ashley are still the exact same, where they're there and they rarely say anything and nobody knows who they are. For some reason, Lily, although she was so funny in this movie, she still talks with like a whispery voice. Why? Like, she got over that in the first movie, but then it's brought back in this movie, and then it's brought back in the third movie, only at the very end for her to talk loud and say her name isn't Lily, it's something else, and Satan has left her body. What the heck? It feels like there's too much improv in this movie and stuff, because the characters just randomly say something, and they expect you to laugh, but it doesn't always land and everything. I do like how what's Anna Kemp's character Stacy. I do like how she graduated and she went on to do something, and she realized because she likes bossing people around, she should be like a camp manager and stuff like that. So that was like perfect for her, but it doesn't really explain why she's in like a camp. But whatever, they had to find a way to, like, insert her into the movie. And I was surprised she didn't contact them all throughout the movie or anything like that. She just randomly shows up, you know what I'm saying? But the people who really randomly showed up were the original Bellas from, like, the past. Like, they're doing their song and everything, and then all of a sudden the older Bellas just start, like, appearing on stage. And it's kind of like, when exactly didn't they ever contact them? And why were there so many younger Bellas? Why weren't there more older Bellas and stuff? And it was kind of cool to see the cameos, like, what's that woman's name from those Good Morning America things? I forget her name. Um, I want to say something Robinson or something like that, but whatever her name is, she just appeared, and it's like, why did she appear? Like, why is this a cameo? Like, can we, like, actually get some dialogue from her? Like, and if they gonna do that, why couldn't they get more cameos to be like the older Bellas? But like, it would have been a big, amazing thing if this would have been planned out more. Like, you know what I'm saying? And we could have seen them playing that out more and contact some of the older Bellas. And because the thing about the first movie had a bit of a stronger script. I'm realizing that now. Like, it goes from point A to point B to point C. But here they kind of just like mixed everything up, and you're just supposed to follow along, but you don't know exactly what you're following along to. Now, still, it's a heck of a lot better than the third movie. The third movie is a literal train wreck and everything. And this movie has so many cameos that it is insane. And that's the problem with sequels. Because the first movie was a hit, everybody wanted to join this movie and stuff. Like Keenan Michael Kay and everything, he's in this movie. David Cross is in this movie. Sellout Dog and everything is in this movie. The Obamas are in this movie. Like, I was surprised to see that, and that whole bit was funny in the beginning. That caused the Bellas to, like, get suspended. And the Green Bay Packers, they really sung in this movie. They did an amazing job. I would have loved to see more of them in this movie. But of course, football players can't act. But my God, they could sing. So I really wish this movie would have incorporated more of the singing groups and stuff like that. But one thing I never understood is, like, when the Bellas got suspended, they're back in their place. Why do they live in a dorm? Like a sorority dorm. Like, I don't understand that. They live in a literal sorority house, but they're not a sorority. They're an a cappella group. I wish they would have explained that in everything. But, they didn't. But this movie, it did very, very well at the box office because everybody was anticipating this from the first movie. It had a budget of about 29 to 31 million, but it made that of 287.5 million. And so, like, also the girl who sleeps around and everything a lot, like, whatever her name. No, wait, is her name Stacy too? No, wait. Is it Amy? Wait, crap. Who is Kemp's character? I forgot her name, but whatever her name is. But in a way, the sex girl just doesn't do nothing in the movie. And that's what really bugs me, like I said in the third movie. I want to know who these other Bellas are, other than you telling me that one has sex, one's a lesbian, one talks with a whisper, and two just people forget who they are and everything. Like, this movie really, really, really needed some stronger character development and everything. Because if they wasn't gonna do the anthology, then yes, this should have, like, been the end for this group of Bellas. And then starting with the third movie, you could have sprung it off with Haley Steinfeld's character and stuff. But I still feel like Chloe had the most character development out of, like, everybody else. But the problem is her character development is just like, an imprinted version of Anna Camp's like character. Like she is literally that character and everything. And she stops being that character once like the whole camp thing is over with. So it's kind of like, I can respect Anna no, Kay Cannon's like, writing this movie for females and stuff like that. Because, this is a newer version, well, not a newer version, but a newer generation like Clueless or like Mean Girls or like Legally Blonde. You know what I'm saying? Everybody deserves to have their own version of like, well, each generation deserves to have their own version of like a strong female led cast. But you gotta make the script a heck of a lot stronger and everything because these movies really started to falter with sequel after sequel and stuff. And I've noticed they focus more on all the female characters in this movie. The guys are barely there. And I get it, they wanted to make this like female centric. But the thing about the first movie is that inclusion of the male characters who help support the female characters. You know what I'm saying? And here they had no support because their support system was barely in the movie and stuff. So they were left to support each other, but how are they going to support each other when they're supposed to be the main characters, Yeah, it sucks this review is so negative, but it's just kind of like, while this movie was enjoyable, I just wanted it to be stronger and more impactful and stuff, and not just a bunch of random jokes so everybody can laugh. Because the problem is when people start to like look at this movie years later, like 10 years later, they start to dissect it and be like, but it's actually not as great as I thought it was. And I've seen people say that in their thing. And that's the problem. Like, it feels like this was just like a pay grab gimmick, and they just like put together a plot and didn't really care if it was like strong enough and stuff. But my God, don't even get me on that third movie. That movie is abysmal and stuff. Okay, so Anna Camp, she plays Aubrey, not Stacy. That's who I'm thinking about. Aubrey and everything. The mean one from the first movie. And also when it comes to Flo, who is she? Like literally, like she just showed up in the movie and it's just kind of like, okay. And she's such a stereotype. She's from Guatemala, but the actress is Cuban. Why couldn't she just be Cuban? And she's such a stereotype in this movie. It's just kind of like, I guess that's supposed to be funny. Whatever. Like, whatever. Happy Women's History Month, everybody. All right. Well, I'll talk to you later. Bye.